Greetings, travelers, and good morning. My name is Pine, and welcome back to another New World video. On today's video, we're going to be talking about everything you need to do once you hit level 60 in New World. Now that a few weeks have gone by, more and more people are starting to hit endgame content. But I'm finding that a lot of people are confused on what to actually do once they hit max level. Hopefully, today's video sheds some light on the subject and helps you better understand how to progress your character throughout Aeternum. Here are some of the things that I recommend that you do at max level, as they'll generally progress your character further and faster than you might be doing right now. The first thing that I recommend for all players to do when they hit max level is to grind your faction gear as soon as possible. Spend some time either in Reekwater, Ebonscale, or Great Cleave and purchase the final armor set for your faction. Please pay attention to the armors when purchasing them, as you'll have more available options than normal. There's even additional options which have corruption perks or perks that would help you out in PvP situations. The next thing that I recommend for people to do is to finish all of the quests in Great Cleave. It is very important to do the main story quests and the side story quests in Great Cleave, because it unlocks a weapon mastery quest for each of your individual weapons. Upon reaching mastery level 20 with the weapon, and completing the quest lines in Great Cleave, a new quest will appear in Eden Grove, in which you'll have to complete a hard series of tasks, and at the end of it all, you'll be awarded with a weapon of a 580 gear score. I recommend picking up the faction armor and then begin the weapon quest lines for your preferred playstyle. Next up, you'll have the options to do the endgame dungeons Genesis and Lazarus, but I highly recommend that you wait on doing them until you get your gear score higher rated. I definitely recommend taking your time, getting some better armor, getting some better weapons and consumables, and then finding a confident party before going into both of these dungeons. I find that Genesis was a little bit easier than Lazarus, but they are both still possible. But again, I recommend saving your key for a little bit until you're better equipped. The next thing that I'm going to recommend for people to do is start finding groups to clear Shattered Mountains. Now, there's two options for you to do in Shattered Mountains. You'll have a bunch of quest lines that'll award you high gear score items, and you'll have the optional elite farm areas, including Mirkard, one of the endgame zones with some of the best loot possible. You're going to need a lot of formidable fighters to be able to tackle these areas, but the loot is absolutely worth it. I recommend finding some friends and other players at level 60 and starting to clear these areas together. You'll also have the option to sign up for invasions and wars, and have a much higher chance of being accepted now that you're max level. You'll have to do a little bit more legwork for this one and talk to the companies in charge of territories, but at least it's an option for you guys to participate. Let's not forget about the arenas, in which you and your group will spawn a powerful boss enemy, and you must defeat them within a time limit. These can only be entered with a special key. You'll be awarded powerful drops that can be used to progress your character further. And of course, we have Outpost Rush, which is a 20 versus 20 instance PvP battleground, in which players will go head to head to secure objectives, defeat powerful foes, and be the first one to reach the limit score and achieve victory. Unfortunately, Outpost Rush is currently unavailable, but as soon as it's turned back on, I recommend people to jump in as soon as possible. Of course, now that we're maximum level, one of the things that we can catch up on are the life skills, including the gathering, refining, and crafting. Now that you have access to better equipment and tools and gear that gives you perks pertaining to that profession, it might be worth it in your interest to try to specialize in a certain life skill and try to cap it at the maximum of 200. I also recommend looting and trying to find some legendary schematics, as these can be very lucrative or can be crafted into powerful weapons. Other options we have at the end game include world PvP and toggling on and trying to start some conflicts in the open world. There's also the forts, in which you can take over for your faction and get a global buff for every member. These will become increasingly valuable the more you play, and I imagine that people are going to be fighting over them throughout the day. You'll also have the option to band together and throw a territory into a state of conflict. By completing PvP missions in a specific area, you can raise the conflict from 0% all the way up to 100. Upon reaching 100%, the territory is now in conflict, and then war can be declared. This may be an option for some smaller companies to try to get involved into the action. Now we're going to be talking about some of the other things that you can do to progress your character that might not be as obvious or part of the grind, but something you should still pay attention to. I know a lot of people out there are spending their time running the economy, spending their days at the trade post trying to make as much gold as possible. This is definitely an option, especially at max level, as you'll be able to farm and kill most monsters with ease. You'll also still be able to work on your territory standings. Territory standings have a cap all the way up in the hundreds, and are worth continuing to grind for even at max level. One of the benefits of territory standings is the housing system, which allows you to purchase higher tier houses the more standing you have. Purchasing a house allows you to have a brand new fast travel spot. You can recharge this fast travel using Azoth. You can also purchase up to 3 houses. You can then furnish the house and try to get a high score and become the publicly displayed house in the settlement. You can also furnish your house with storage chests to increase your inventory capacity in that settlement. Other fun things that you can do is the fishing quest outside of Windsward, which will send you on a long chain around Aeternum, and at the end you'll find a special reward. You can also spend some time and dye your endgame armor. Using the cooking life skill, you can procure dyes, and you can use these to color your armor, adding a little bit more personal flair to your character. You'll also be able to collect more endgame gear sets. Some specialized gear will begin to drop, especially pertaining to life skills. You'll see things like Skinner's pants, or Fisherman's smock, and a few other things. I definitely recommend trying to collect some of these gear sets if you're able to. Of course, if you want to test your combat prowess, you can also duel people outside of towns, whether individually or on groups. And finally, if that's not enough stuff for you to do at level 60, you can of course start chipping away at the achievements. Achievements are categorized by everything in the game, and it's possible to try to reach a value of 100% completion. I'm not sure if anyone is crazy enough to do it, but I would love to see them try. Hopefully this video helped you understand at what to do at level 60, and of course, if this video did in fact help you, please subscribe to the channel. If you made it this far in the video, chances are you're gonna like the other videos on our channel, and I would love to have you stick around. I'd love to give back to some of my subscribers, so do me a favor and leave a comment down below on your favorite tip or something you didn't know from this video, and I'll try to go through and pick a few winners to receive some Marks of Fortune, the currency used to purchase microtransactions in New World. As always, I save it for the end, but it's also worth mentioning that I do live stream, and I would love if you guys could stop by my Twitch channel. I'll put a link in the description below. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and as always, safe travels through Aeternum.